Assistant Warden Crystal Simon, and I'm the only one here today.
Thank you, Warden. Our first case is Mr. Ernest King. Mr. King, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
My name is Ernest A King, 1698-94.
Thank you, sir. Mr. King, I want to explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. After that interview, you'll have an opportunity to make a brief statement to the board if you wish to, and then we'll vote. Do you understand our procedure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the matter of Ernest A. King, DOC number 609894, date of birth August the 16th of 1980. He's classified as a first-time felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of November the 14th of 2023. He is not eligible for good time, and he has a full term date of February the 15th of 2026. He is currently serving a 15-year sentence on the charges of forcible rape, having been sentenced on March the 22nd of 2013. Mr. King, is that information basically correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. King, your case has been assigned to Ms. Bonnie Jackson. She will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she may have?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. King. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, ma'am.
That's good. How old are you, Mr. King?
I'm 43. No, 42.
That's
No,
what
I mean,
I have
yeah.
42.
yeah.
43.
Yeah.
We'll say
I'm sorry.
42 and a half. How about that?
Yeah.
And you have a 15-year sentence for 4 counts of forcible rape. All of the victims were juvenile and they were your nieces. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How much time have you actually served on this 12-year sentence?
The full 12. Yeah. The full on 15 years sentence, I served the full 12.
Yeah. All right. Have you completed all 4 phases of sex offender treatment, Mr. King?
I completed 3 phases. I never was the facilitator because they had backlog on facilitators at the time.
So how many phases? Okay.
I completed I completed 3 phases.
Warden, can you verify that for us? How many phases of sex offender treatment he's completed?
Let's see, I'm looking, here's one. I see 2, and forgive me, Ms. Jackson, he hasn't been at Allen for very long. He's new to us.
I
So-
finished 1 and 2 in Winfield,
I
and I
see,
finished the 3rd in Cottonport. Boys Barracks. The
I see
certificate.
phase 1 completed at Winfield. I see phase 2 completed at Winfield. And I see phase 3 completed at a Royals Correctional Center.
Okay, all right, thank you. But you haven't done phase 4, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and they do offer sex offender treatment at Allen, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. Also, I see that you have only had 5 write-ups. Is that over the whole 12 years?
5.
Mm-hmm.
I should have only 1.
Go back. You had one on September 12th of 13, which is a Rule 4. You lost 2 weeks of canteen. On November 14th of 13, you had a Rule 7. You lost 4 weeks of canteen and 4 weeks of phone. On March 22nd of 16, you had another Rule 4. You lost 1 week of phone On March 24th of 16, you had 5, which was an aggravated disobedience. You lost 4 weeks of phone and 4 weeks of canteen. And then on April 6th of 2011, you had an 11, which was an aggravated fighting. And tell me about what happened on April 6th of 2021 when you had an aggravated fighting.
I got into an argument with a guy, his name was Michael Timmons.
Mhm.
We got in an argument over the television. He was bullying around the old guys that was sitting in wheelchairs and they're watching television. He won't come in and take the TV from them. And we was all watching wrestling at the time. And I asked him politely to put the remote down that everybody was watching it. He jumps up, start grabbing himself, cussing everybody out, and I just snapped. I'm sorry to say.
What did you do? You say you just snapped? Because an aggravated fighting means that there was a
I went to the back. Yeah, I went to the back of the tent with him to fight. He grabbed the cane. So I grabbed one.
and
He swung the cane and broke across my arm, and I hit him with the one I had.
okay.
That's when the staff came and they came looking for the broken pieces of cane. I gave it to him. And everybody on the tent let them know what happened. And we both was locked up for that time.
Okay. How do you think you should have handled that situation?
If at the time I should have got the staff, but there was at that time there was nobody around. It
Okay.
was just us.
Okay. I see that you have a mental health level 3. What's your mental health diagnosis?
What does that mean?
Do you have, you see mental health for any particular reason?
Yeah, I think mental health depression. I also was on the medication and some medication, and when I was in Hunts, they switched my medication and they put me on suicide watch for a little while because I was hearing voices out of the fan while I was on it and seeing hallucinations. I stopped taking it.
Okay, what condition are they giving you medication to treat? What is
Just depression right now.
And what kind of, are you on medication right now?
Yeah, I'm on Cymbalta.
Okay, and that's to treat depression?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a job at the prison?
No, I'm a LDI, limited indoor duty.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why?
Because I have a sciatic nerve in my back and nerve damage. I'm on the walker.
Okay, you're always on a walker?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
But I've
let's
been,
go ahead.
I started off in a wheelchair, but I worked myself up out of the wheelchair onto the walker. I've been on the walker for the last 3 to 4 years now.
Okay,
I was in a wheelchair at first.
I'm glad to see you're making some improvement with that. Let's go back a little bit to this crime involving your 4 nieces. You charged with forcible rape, which means you penetrated them in some way. what was going on with you that would cause you to commit these crimes?
At the time, I was just a total alcoholic at the time. And around 2004, I basically, I can't describe how it happened, but it did. And
Well, why did it happen?
I really have no explanation.
So in your 3 phases of sex offender treatment,
Yes, I know.
can you talk about the reasons that caused it?
The reason is my risk factor that caused me to offend in the first place is, I guess it was just my environment, but I can throw it on things that happened to me as a kid, and shit. They had a lot of things that happened to me as a kid, sexually, mentally, and physically.
You were the victim of sexual abuse?
Yes, by my oldest brothers, which is one of the reasons I did what I did to his daughter, was sort of payback for what he did to me. And my sister kids, she really never did anything to me, but I guess the opportunity was there, and between that and the alcohol, I was just fed up with a lot of things, and
How old were these children?
at the time,
Mm-hmm.
at the time, Audrey was, I think, 5 or 6. That was in 2002. And Betty was like, yeah, she I think she was a year younger. I can't really remember the ages at that time.
There were 4 different children, right?
Oh, yes, but it was over a limited time. In 2002, I started molesting my nieces, Audrey and Betty. That when I came down off the alcohol and I realized what I had done, I tried to stay away from my sister's house. I stayed away from the kids. And around, I really avoided her, period, because I was ashamed for, I pissed off at myself for what I did. I'm sorry for my language.
All right.
But
So when did you go and molest the other 2 girls? When did that start?
The Anisha, the brother that abused me, his name was Ernest Henry King. He moved into the house with me and my mother and my father, with his whole family. And that was the fall of 2004. We flashed out on each other instantly. We started fighting, and of course I couldn't do nothing about him, because even how big I was, he sold drugs. He had guns and everything. He held me at gunpoint basically at one time.
Well, let's just talk about it.
So
I understand that sometimes being abused creates that cycle in the abuser. But having been abused and knowing how that affected you, did you ever stop to think about how what you were doing to those girls would do the same thing to them that your abuse did to you?
No, at that particular time, my only instinct in my head was getting back at him some kind of way.
Yeah, but not with the other two girls. Not with the other girls who weren't his girls.
Yeah, this was Arnisha Simon, his daughter.
I know, but again, there were some girls that weren't his daughter. And you
Yeah.
abused her also.
Yeah, and that situation, that's why that
So
was
that's-
just alcohol in me, and at that time, and that it.
What
when
have
I-
you, what kind of substance abuse treatment have you had, Mr. King?
I had limit imbalance. I had I'm still in AANA. I go to the meeting every now and then when they not joking around in there. When they start playing around, I leave. Cause if they not taking it seriously, I don't see a point in going in there. So I'd like to go to a group that's taking it serious.
Understand, so you're an alcoholic
Yes, ma'am, I
and
am.
you recognize that you will always be an alcoholic?
Yes, ma'am. I grew up around alcoholics. My mother was an alcoholic. My brothers, everybody in my family drank. I never did any other drug.
So
I never did-
alcohol is one of your triggers, correct?
Yeah, that was one of my main triggers.
Also having been abused yourself, a trigger.
Yes.
Sounds like anger is a trigger. Because you did this to get back at your brother by, molesting his daughter.
And his daughter.
So let me ask you this. And I appreciate your honesty because I do believe that you've been quite honest with us. But, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about this happening again.
No, no. I,
And I understand you say that, but
no.
you have to convince me that you are not going to do this again. So what's going to keep you from doing this again to some other little girl?
I'm not doing this again.
Well, how do you know that? After you tried,
I'm not-
you molested your first two nieces, and you were trying to stay away from around that house, you still ended up molesting some other children.
Yes, I did.
So it's not enough to say I'm not going to do it anymore. You have to have some real concrete barriers around yourself to make sure this doesn't happen again. And I'm trying to find out from you your understanding of what those barriers are that you need to have in place so that no other little girl gets molested.
The barriers I got is not drinking anymore, staying to my programs and focusing on whatever I can get to stay out of that type of situation.
Well, what does that mean though? Focusing on what? You said focusing, give me something specific.
Focusing on work. That's the only thing I can do is work.
No?
I've been working my whole life.
What you can focus on is dealing with what happened to you so that you can move beyond what happened to you so that that no longer influences the way you respond to situations with little girls. You gotta fix you,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm not sure you're there yet. Where would you even live if you were released?
Right now with my brother,
Which brother?
my oldest brother, James King. He,
And the Tiancho?
he has an oldest daughter, his daughter in college.
Okay. And how would you support yourself? Given your physical condition, how would you support yourself?
I'm still working on my physical condition, but
I know, but
he
what if it doesn't get much better? How are you
Yeah.
gonna support yourself?
he has his own business,
Kind of
and
business.
he does deliver he deliver magazines, and I can work in his warehouse
Doing what?
doing computer work. They organizing his shipments, making sure they get loaded, doing light labor work inside his warehouse.
All right. Board, is there anything you can tell about Mr. King?
Unfortunately, Ms. Jackson, I don't have any comment.
How long has he been there?
Only been at Allen since, I think it was February of this year. He transferred from Rankin Correctional Center. So, I mean, all I know is actually what you guys have, and it's fine.
All right. Well, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Mayor, what other programs are available for him to take?
We do have, I don't think you've taken victim impact, King.
No,
Right.
We have victim-
Okay,
I was
We do have the four levels of sex offender program. Of course, I would have to reach out to our mental health department and see if he could take the fourth level. You've taken living in balance.
yeah, taking living in
You've
balance.
taken Change Your Rage,
Yes,
Thinking for a Change.
yeah.
okay.
Wait,
I didn't see those, but that's good to hear. You need, the victim impact would be good. Thank you, Warren, I appreciate it. All right.
Thank you. Mr. King, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
Only that I'm down, I'm sorry that I did what I did, but what I would like to do is tell them that. And I had no contact with them to do so. Even though one of the steps is to reach out to them. I couldn't do that because the restraining order that was signed against me when I was arraigned. So I was afraid to even try to get in touch with them to ask for forgiveness or even,
Well, it's not lawful for you to contact him.
yeah. That's what I figured.
Thank you, Mr. King. Ms. Hannah, ready to vote? Okay, Ms. Jackson.
Ms. King, I will say that I do appreciate your honesty. I think you've been very honest with the board today in everything that you told us. And I appreciate that. And that shows that you are, coming to terms with what happened in this case. And you're gaining some insight into the reasons that you committed these crimes. But I think you do need some more programming. I think you need to complete, if you're allowed to do the fourth phase of sex offender treatment. I also think you need to do victim awareness to give you clearer sense, even though you've been the victim of abuse yourself. You still have to understand how this has impacted those girls. And I just think that you need some more programming. So today my vote is to deny, but I'm going to encourage you to keep working on yourself. You've got to heal from the trauma that you have gone through before you can really move beyond this and move beyond this mindset of abusing others. You've got to deal with your own abuse and come to terms with it and find healing for that. And that's what I hope will happen as you work through some of these programs. So good luck to you, but my vote today would be to deny.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Ms. Wise?
Mr. King, you expressed very good insight as a survivor and recognizing you are a survivor of sexual abuse. And start owning that and walking in that. I concur with my colleague, and you're the father of 2 children yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the ages of your children? I'm sorry.
At this point in time, they're 12 years old.
They're twins,
Yes,
the girl, or boy,
girls.
girl, all right. That's it. Okay, but my vote is the same, to deny because of the age of the victims and the impact of the crime. And I'd like to see you get more programs and really just take this time to really, take this time to, and I think it is a substance abuse treatment. We really need that as well. And just take this time to really take in what you need so that when you get out, you can stay out and you won't cause any more harm. And reapply when you're eligible. You might have a few years. You can reapply after those programs. Best wishes to you.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. King, you have 2 votes to deny. Both of my colleagues have commented on how honest we think you've been, and I think it's true. You've had a very good interview. I think you just need some more work. We want to make sure that when you get out, you're able to stay out and you don't harm anybody, and you don't end up coming back to prison. So the comments that were made, victim awareness, the victim impact is a significant program that you need to take. 4th phase of sex offender treatment, if you can get in, it is critically important. And certainly, I mean, you conceded and you've admitted you're an alcoholic, you need some substance abuse treatment. So, you've got a release date coming up, a full-term date in a couple of years. So, 2.5, 3 years. So you're coming up, but you need some help to make sure you don't ever come back. So while you've been denied today, I really hope you hear the positive things and the encouragement that we've given you today to move forward. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any others of Alan?